Welcome to the Explore Real Estate Show. I am James Boslaw, your Fredericksburg area realtor and vacation rental investor. And this show is all about real estate in the Fredericksburg area, the Fawn Lake Community, and the vacation rental space. I help people buy and sell homes because I believe that everyone should grow their wealth as they live in or own a home that they love. I also believe that you should feel confident when you are buying or selling a home, and confidence comes when you are well educated and informed, and that's what this show is all about. Enjoy the show. Hey everybody, welcome to the Explorer Real Estate Show, where in today's episode, I'm going to break down the real estate stats for the Fawn Lake community in the month of March. And I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. But before I jump into these stats, I do want to go ahead and say that my voice is probably going to sound a little bit different today. I have some bad allergies. I'm also a soccer coach for my kids and constantly yelling and cheering them on in their various sports, and talking a lot as a real estate agent as well. So my voice is a little different today, so please forgive me for that, but I'm going to do my best to project to make sure you guys can hear me clearly, because even though the stats today are, for the most part, kind of boring, there is just one stat that just is mind-blowing, and I will share that with you in just a moment. So let's go ahead and let's dive right into the stats. I do want to say one more thing, actually, before I dive into these stats. You probably have heard a lot about a lot of noise around the NAR proposed settlement, and there are a lot of headlines out there saying a lot of different things, and man, oh man, most of them are wrong. And so I almost created a podcast to address that, to make sure I can clarify what's going on. The reason why I haven't done that yet is because everything has just been proposed. Nothing has been settled on, and so we're still getting the facts as they come out. But rest assured, I really don't think much is going to change, and I will break that down for you once this proposed settlement is indeed settled, and we have all the facts that we could pass on to you, so that you can avoid these clickbait, channels out there that are trying to scare everybody into what's going on. It's really not all that scary, and I will break that down for you in the months to come. Okay, back to the real estate stats for the Fawn Lake community. Like I said, I'm going to keep this short and sweet today because most of these stats are kind of boring, except for one that everybody needs to be mindful of. So let's dive right in. Once again, we are looking at stats January through March, so the entire first quarter of 2024. And what we're doing is we're comparing it to the first quarter of 2023. And as we do that, this is what we find. The overall sold dollar volume is now up. There are more homes that have sold in Fawn Lake this year in this quarter, January through March, than in January through March of last year. That is some good news. The average sales price has gone down about 2%. So we're seeing a minimal decrease in home values. If you're taking into consideration the average sold price, it's down about 2%. So nothing crazy. However, we do need to be mindful that home sale prices are currently not going up when we take a look at January through March of this year and then compare it to January or March of last year. Now, if we take a look at the median sold price, we'll actually see that it's going down at about 3%. So both the average sales price and the median sales price is reflecting that homes are valued at less this year, January through March, than it was January through March of last year. Now, none of this should come as a surprise. The interest rates went up significantly, and they did so at about the halfway through last year. And so in 2023, the first couple months, what we were starting to see is some higher price homes and values, because at that time the interest rates were much lower, the demand was higher. And now we are in a different place. Now, if you take a look at the overall units sold, not just the overall sold dollar volume, but overall units sold, we're currently at 9 homes sold January through March of this year, which is 1 home more than January through March of last year, where there were 8 homes sold. So we're not seeing much of a difference as far as overall units sold. It's about the same this year as it was last year. But get ready for this stat. This is I've looked at a lot of stats in my real estate career, and this one is maybe the most shocking I've ever seen. But if you take a look at the average days on market this year and January through March compared to last year, January through March, we are up average days on market by 467%. Yes, that's right. We are up 467% as far as average days on market. Now, let me put real numbers to that, like real days. The average days on market this year, January through March, before a home goes under contract, is 51 days. Wow. Let's let that sink in for a little bit. It's taking almost 2 months for a home to be on the market before it's going under contract. Whereas in last year, January through March, the average days on market was 9. So I will say that homes are definitely taking longer to sell this year than they were last year. And that is something that if you are a homeowner and if your home is currently for sale or you're thinking about putting your home up for sale, you just have to reset your expectations on what it looks like to sell your home. Now, where things are going to go in the upcoming months, that's to be seen. And who knows, maybe we're going to see that number drop significantly once some of these homes are sold. We'll have more numbers to support what direction things are going in. I will say that one of my listings just went under contract recently, and it was way, way under that 51 days, but it was still at about 30. And so, there are a lot of variables that go into this, but right now we do need to understand that homes do not go under contract as quickly as they used to. It takes longer for a buyer to find that home and scoop it up. Now, if you take a look at the number of active listings in the month of March of this year, it is 26 homes that are currently for sale. Now, about half of those are new home builds. And what's interesting about new home builds is that we might see that there is, of those 26 listings, I think 12 or 13 of them are new home builds. But what we don't realize is that those 12 or 13 homes that are for sale, there's more lots beyond those homes that we see in the MLS. So even though we're only seeing 26 active listings right now, it's actually more than that because the builder can take the model that they're showing you and they could build it on several of their lots. And so we do have quite a few active listings right now, but half of them are new home builds. The other half are resales. But the 5-year average is about 24 homes. And if you take a look at the 5-year average and go back a couple years, there wasn't as many home builders in the neighborhood then, definitely not building like some of the areas that we have right now. So in years past, we had more resales for sale, whereas in right now, we have fewer resales for sale than the years past. But when you match the new home builds on top of that, it kind of brings you about to where our 5-year average is. Now, if you take a look at the months of supply in the neighborhood, right now in March of 2024, we're at 6.5 months. That is officially entering into a buyer's market. Anything over 5 or 6 months of supply, we're starting to see that the buyer has a little bit more leverage, which means that they're making offers on homes for less than asking price quite often, and they're maybe even to get some concessions at some points. Which is something that we're starting to see. Now, not all homes are that way. If a home is priced very competitively, there are still bidding wars and homes that are going under contract above asking price. But for the most part, what we're seeing is that homes are going under contract for less than what they are listed for. As a matter of fact, the average, I should bring up this stat. This is important. The average sales price, the list price right now and this year is 98%. So people are able to get a home for about 2% less than what it's being listed for. Whereas in last year is 106%. So last year in the first quarter, homes were going under contract for more than what they were listed for by about 6.5%. Whereas in this year, homes are going under contract at about 2% less than what they were listed for. So that just goes to show that the buyer does have a little bit more wiggle room, where our months of supply is now currently at 6.5 months. The 5-year average is about 5 months of supply. So what we're seeing is that if you are a seller in the neighborhood, home values are going down just a little bit. Your homes are selling a little slower. If you're looking to buy in the neighborhood, you have less competition. You have maybe a little bit more opportunity to wiggle down on price. There's still not a ton of inventory right now, but that lack of supply and that lack of demand are keeping sales prices coming down just slightly. So one thing that hasn't changed is that Fawn Lake Community is still the best place to live in the area. In my opinion, I absolutely love this community. The warmer months are ahead of us, so we have a lot of great activity with our sports teams playing again. and I'm seeing more and more people out walking with their dogs and biking, and pretty soon our beaches will be full and our pool will be out there and ready. And I just cannot wait for all of the fun that's going to happen this summer. But that is what's taking place in the Fawn Lake community. And you heard the facts right here from me. And as always, if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure that you click subscribe. That way you can follow what's going on in this market. As soon as I put out the episodes, you'll be notified. And if you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, make sure you like the show for the same reason. And if you ever have any questions or want more expert advice on the Fawn Lake community, all you have to do is find me at my website, which is explorewithjb.com, and then you can contact me there. I have several listings, some went under contract. I have another one that's still live, and I've got more listings that will be coming up in the months of May and June and July. And so make sure that you contact me if you have any interest in moving in the community, whether it be my listings or others. I'd be more than happy to help you. And if you're looking to sell your home and you're just curious to know what your home's value is, then make sure that you reach out to me and we'll set up an appointment and I'll let you know what your home could sell for. So with that being said, that's it for today's episode. I hope you have a great day, a great week, and I will see you on the next episode.